Hello and welcome to another video on presentation packs. So I don't think these are going to need much introduction, to be perfectly honest, from this point on, because presumably you've seen the previous ones. And if you haven't, go and watch them. So now we're going to be going through folder number 3, which is there, and that goes from the 3rd of the 9th, 1975 to the 6th of the 2nd, 1981. Yeah, I may as well just get started with that then. Okay, so let's start going through folder number 3. So again, here's the little list of stuff that should be in here, and that tells me all the stuff I'm looking for as well when I'm out hunting. So yeah, Interparliamentary Conference. This is actually, in fact, all of these are that I have are pretty common and really easy to get hold of. As you can say, I think this has been rebagged at some point. The Jane Austen one, I think, has been rebagged at some point. Christmas 1975. Now, that's in the original bag, I'm pretty sure, as most of my 70s ones are. Now, this one here, the 10p stamp booklets, they are part of the Post Office Mist series that I've done a video on before, as is this one here. These are basically sister books. One came out in January, one came out in March, I believe it is. And they are both part of the Mist collection. So these aren't official Royal Mail issues. The stamps obviously are, but the presentation packs aren't. Sometimes called private packs. But still look good in the collection. Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone, you see. Turns out he didn't really invent it, but maybe people didn't know that in 1976. But there you go. Social reform, some interesting stamps there. I'm not really sure what. I mean, I know what they say they're meant to be. I'm not. I haven't got an eye for art, unfortunately. So, bicentennial of American independence. Now, it's funny that the UK Post Office should choose to commemorate that, but they did, and there you go. Because presumably that is the commemoration of a war that we lost. As Britain, but there you are. They've commemorated it anyway. Roses. I mean, what do you say about roses? British cultural traditions. So look, you've got a. Do you know what the thing is? See, the amount of information on the back of these packets and on the inside, if you open them up, is actually pretty good. I just don't take the time to read them all or know any of them. So I am going to come across as quite thick. But look, if you look here, they've got it in. I think that's Welsh, probably, and Gaelic. I don't know. But yeah, cultural traditions, or maybe it's maybe that's some sort of I don't know, sort of Norse language. I don't know. I have no idea. I should really look and learn these things. What have we got there? William Caxton. Yeah. So there, William Caxton. And some regional definitives. So we've got Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, which is Cymru as well, because, of course, the Welsh people need it in Welsh, even though none of them speak it. But for some reason, Scotland hasn't decided we want it in Gaelic. But there you go. Yeah, so, I mean, there's nothing special about definitives from this point on. They're basically all the same stamp, just with a little, the different mascot that represents their countries, or whatever your territories, I suppose. Right, so, what have we got there? English medieval embroidery. Yeah, so that's something. Racket sports. So this is what, 1977, I think, and 1977, Virginia Wade won Wimbledon. I don't know who the man was that won, but I know Virginia Wade won it in 77. So that's a good thing. Some definitives. Now, these sorts of shaped ones annoy me slightly because some of the stamps are hiding under the flap. Now, I could get a set of tweezers in and move them to the outside so that you could see more of the stamps, and I probably will do that at some point. I just sort of haven't yet, but I might. So what are we? British achievement in chemistry, that's pretty good, but the stamps are actually largely uninteresting to my eyes. But then, like I say, I don't really have an eye for art, design, that sort of thing. To pay labels, again, I mentioned this in, I think, the last video, that a lot of people don't consider these as proper stamps, and arguably they're not proper stamps because you can't use them as postage. But they are issued by the Royal Mail, and they are issued in presentation packs. So for me, as a presentation pack collector, I feel they do deserve a place in the collection. Not everyone would agree, but I think so. I mean, if they're going to take the time to issue the packs, I may as well get them. Silver Jubilee. Now, a lot of people think, and they are correct, of course, that there are 5 77 Silver Jubilee stamps issued. In the official presentation pack, however, there are only 4, which I'll explain, I'll go into again in a bit. There are only 4 actually issued in the presentation pack, even though there are 5 Jubilee stamps. So that's a point of interest that will come up in a minute. Moving on, Heads of Government meeting 1977. Yeah. I mean, what do you say about that? And this is why I'm going to get onto it. This is the last Post Office Miss pack, and there are actually several versions of this. This is the one I specifically went after to get because it is the single stamp issue. And if you look, this is the Jubilee issue. This is also the Jubilee issue, but this is the missing stamp from the official pack. Which was then issued in private packs, although some private packs are this one, like the single stamp, and some of them are the full 5 set. So there are several variants of this private pack, which again is not an official issue. This is a private pack, and there are several variants of it, but I specifically went for the single stamp one because I didn't really want another presentation packs with the same stamps, the exact same stamps as I already had. So that's the one I went for. And this is probably the rarest private pack to get, especially in the single stamp variant. I've seen, like I say, I've seen the multiple stamp, the 5 stamp one a couple of times. This single stamp one is probably the one you'll have the most difficult time getting. But then as this isn't a pack that's officially issued by the Royal Mail, a lot of people don't consider it a presentation pack anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so that, I think, it's just a point of interest. British wildlife, got squirrels and rabbits and things, brilliant. All for wildlife. 12 Days of Christmas. Now, this is obviously a Christmas pack, and there is one that hides around the corner as well. So not all the stamps fit where you can see them. This is another thing that does annoy me, but they are there, trust me. And funny enough, the person that I bought this off a person. And when they sent me the pack, the partridge here, I think it's the partridge, is it? Yeah. Anyway, that stamp there was missing, and then they found it. I sent them a message saying, "Look, one of the stamps is missing. What do you want me to do about it?" And they said, "Oh yeah, I found it. Sort of, it was hiding under something, so it obviously fallen out." So they sent me the stamp separately, but that's also why it's not attached, I imagine. So I don't know what the story is behind that, but the fact that they sent me the stamp meant that I just sort of went, "Yeah, okay, fair enough," and I've got the stamp, so it doesn't really matter. energy, I don't really know what this issue's for. I think, it harks back to a time where Britain used to own its own energy production, which it doesn't anymore, and it's sort of sad. Historic buildings. Now, this isn't an amazingly interesting pack in itself, but what it does have, which was issued later on, if I can get in here, is a miniature sheet that's a sort of companion to it. Now, this was issued, I think this was issued in 79, and that was issued in 80 at the London International Stamp Exhibition as a miniature sheet. So even though it was issued later, I've actually kept it in with this pack so I know which one it applies to. Now, miniature sheets you can buy separately from the presentation packs. And there are plenty of people that collect miniature sheets as well. But I think it's something a little bit extra interesting to go along with it. So that's also something you can look out for is... hang on, I'll just sort of place that a bit better. Sort of there, that'll do. That's a little something extra you can look at as a companion to presentation packs, is the little miniature sheets that are often issued either at the same time or slightly later on. So yeah, just a interesting thing. 25th anniversary of the coronation. Horses, cycling. You know, there's plenty of stuff that they just seem to sort of churn out over this point. So more Christmas stamps, dogs, flowers, direct elections to the European Assembly. Yep, we need stamps to commemorate that. Horse racing. So we just had horses. We're going to have horse racing now. And then the Year of the Child. I don't really know what that is. I'm not certain. I should really, really take these out and read them at some point to see what they're about. Now, Rowland Hill, inventor of the penny black, effectively. Sort of, I suppose. And again, I'm not going to take it out, but there's another miniature sheet that was issued at the International Stamp Exhibition that goes along with this set of stuff. So they've got a Rowland Hill. I've got a Rowland Hill miniature sheet in here as well, which is basically these 4 stamps on a backing that tells you it's from the International Stamp Exhibition in 1980. So obviously these were issued nearly a year after this pack was, but because it's the same, that's what it's, that's what it goes with. So that's where I've put it. Now, if I had a separate folder for miniature sheets, I would probably keep it in there, but I don't. So that's how it goes. So Rowland Hill, yes, inventor of the penny post, the penny black, and there you are. And then there's a thing about the police. You've got a little fella in, I suppose, what is the equivalent of 1970s high-vis. I don't know. There's a little Bobby on the beat speaking to people. There's a river police, horse police. Horse police? Mounted police, they're called, not horse police. We're the horse police. Put them horses down. Christmas 1979, British Birds, Liverpool and Manchester Railway, 1830, very early for a railway. And again, International Stamp Exhibition, these were issued at the same time, and there's basically the single stamp here, and then the third miniature sheet issued at the London Stamp Exhibition, 1980. So yeah, the last of the 3 miniature sheets behind it there. London landmarks, so that's all of them. I could read them, but it's difficult reading them upside down to see what they are. So you can just see, look, that's them, London landmarks there. Authors, authoresses, I suppose, I don't know, famous people. Yeah. So, I don't know. 2 Bronte sisters is cheating, really. You couldn't have thought of somebody else. Music and British conductors. There. Some sport in that proper 70s telly font. Sort of BBC Two sport. So that's I don't know who any of them are because I wasn't born in the 70s. In fact, I'm not even sure they're sort of real people. But there you go. Christmas 1980 and Folklore, which is a fantastic PS3 game, but a really semi-interesting set of stamps. So there you go. That's folder 3, and I'm sorry I can't make it more interesting than it actually is. But you know, that's the way it is. So that's unfortunate. But hopefully there's been a couple of interesting things there, especially when it comes to the, what do you call it? The post office miss packs and the addition of miniature sheets to stamp collecting. So there you are. So there was quite a lot there, wasn't there? Yeah, I mean, the 70s and the 80s arguably are the easiest stuff to get. So these, as we go on, these are going to get fuller and fuller and fuller. And then when we come into the sort of mid-2000s, there's going to be a few more gaps. But, you know, there's plenty still to get in this sets of years as well. So still stuff to track down. And, yeah, so comments and things are always constructive. So, you know, feel free to leave any. And I suppose there's nothing else to do apart from to show the end card. So I'm going to do that. So this video here is going to be my latest video. This video here is going to be a random one based on the choices that you've already selected within YouTube, presumably. And up here, next to my face, there's going to be a subscribe button. So that's it. End of video, and I'll see you in the next one.